You've been told your whole life that you're lazy, that something is wrong with you, that if you just tried harder, you'd be disciplined. But what if laziness doesn't actually exist? What if it's not the disease, but the symptom? A warning sign, a signal that your mind is trapped inside a system designed to drain you. This video is not motivation. It's not productivity advice. It's an awakening. And once you see this, you won't be able to unsee it. 1. The myth of laziness. Let's start with a question no one asks. Why were humans capable of building pyramids, crossing oceans, hunting for days without comfort, but today struggle to focus for 10 minutes? Did human nature suddenly collapse? Or did the environment change? Laziness is a modern label. It's used to blame the individual. So the system never gets questioned. When you can't focus, they say you lack discipline. When you feel drained, they say you need motivation. When you procrastinate, they say you're weak. But ancient humans didn't need motivational quotes. They didn't watch productivity hacks. They didn't wake up feeling burnt out, because their brains weren't under attack. Yours is. 2. The dopamine hijack. Your brain runs on dopamine, not pleasure, anticipation. Dopamine is what makes you move, hunt, build, create. But dopamine was meant to be earned. Now, it's injected. Every scroll, every notification, every reel, every short video, every like, every artificial hit. Your phone is not neutral. It's a slot machine engineered by neuroscientists. Infinite rewards, zero effort, no finish line. And your brain doesn't know the difference between real progress and digital stimulation. So it thinks, I already achieved something, when you haven't. This is why after hours of scrolling, you feel exhausted, but accomplished nothing. You didn't rest. You were harvested. 3. Why motivation feels dead. Motivation doesn't disappear randomly. It gets overstimulated. Imagine revving a car engine all day. Eventually, it breaks. That's your dopamine system. When everything is exciting, nothing is. Work feels dull. Reading feels painful. Silence feels unbearable. Your brain has been trained to crave chaos, so when you sit down to do something meaningful, it panics, it rebels, it looks for escape. This is called dopamine resistance, the same way sugar ruins your taste buds. Cheap stimulation ruins your drive. You don't lack motivation, you drowned it. 4. Fake productivity, the comfortable prison. Let's talk about a trap disguised as progress. Fake productivity, watching videos about success, organizing tasks instead of doing them, planning endlessly, consuming self-help instead of applying it. You feel productive, without the discomfort of real effort. The system loves this version of you. Busy, occupied, but never dangerous. Never independent, never free. True progress requires boredom, struggle, resistance. Fake productivity avoids all three and keeps you exactly where you are. 5. The mental prison. You don't see the most effective prisons don't use bars. They use comfort, distraction, endless entertainment. Your mind is kept just stimulated enough to never rebel. You're not chained, you're occupied. And occupation is more powerful than force, because you don't fight what feels good. This is why time disappears. Weeks blur together. Years pass unnoticed. Not because life is short, but because your attention is fragmented. And attention is life. Where your attention goes, your existence follows. 6. Why silence terrifies people. Try this experiment. Sit in silence. No phone, no music, no stimulation. Just you. Most people can't last 5 minutes. Not because silence is dangerous, but because it exposes. Silence forces you to confront your unresolved thoughts, your suppressed emotions, your avoided responsibilities, your unrealized potential. Noise numbs, silence reveals, and a distracted mind fears clarity more than pain. That's why people escape into constant stimulation, because awareness demands change. 7. The beginning of awakening. If this makes you uncomfortable, good. Discomfort is the first crack in the prison wall. You're not lazy. You're overstimulated, overdistracted, mentally sedated. And the fact that you're still searching, still watching, still questioning, means something inside you hasn't surrendered yet. 8. In the next part, we'll expose why willpower alone never saves you, how the system profits from your exhaustion, the invisible routines controlling your behavior, and the first step to reclaiming your mind. This isn't about becoming productive. It's about becoming free. But freedom requires something rare: awareness, and most people never make it past this point. If you're still here, then you're not lazy. You're waking up. By now, you should feel something uncomfortable. Not fear, not motivation, awareness. Because once you understand the trap, you start noticing it everywhere. In your habits, in your exhaustion, in the way your days disappear. In part 1, we destroyed the myth of laziness. Now we go further. Because here's the truth no one tells you. Even if you know you're trapped, willpower alone will not save you. 1. The willpower lie. You've been taught that discipline is about force. Push harder. Stay strong. Just do it. But willpower is not infinite. It's a resource. And like any resource, it can be drained. Every decision you make costs energy. What to wear, what to eat, what to watch, what to ignore. By the time you sit down to do meaningful work, your willpower is already gone, and the system knows this. That's why it attacks you before the day even starts. 2. The morning hijack. What's the first thing most people do after waking up? They grab their phone. Before water, before sunlight, before movement, notifications, messages, news, short videos. Your brain hasn't even fully woken up, and it's already being programmed. Emotion, comparison, urgency, distraction. Your day doesn't belong to you. It belongs to whoever captures your attention first. And once that happens, you spend the rest of the day reacting, never leading, never creating, just responding. 3. Exhaustion as a control mechanism. A tired mind doesn't rebel. It complies. Think about it. When are you most likely to scroll endlessly? When you're exhausted. When are you most likely to avoid hard work? When you're exhausted. When are you least likely to question your life? When you're exhausted. Burnout isn't an accident. It's profitable. An exhausted population consumes more, thinks less, obeys easier, escapes instead of confronts. Rest should restore you. But modern rest is just more stimulation. So you never actually recover. 4. The invisible routine that runs your life. You think you choose your habits, but most of them are automatic, triggered, looped, reinforced. Wake up, phone bored, scroll stress, entertainment silence, noise. This is not randomness, it's conditioning. Your brain learns discomfort equals escape. So every time things get hard, you leave. Mentally, emotionally, sometimes physically, and without realizing it. You train yourself to quit. 5. Why focus feels painful. Now, focus didn't become hard. You became unused to it. Your attention span is like a muscle. Neglected muscles don't just weaken. They hurt when used. That pain you feel when trying to concentrate? That's not boredom. That's withdrawal. Your brain is craving stimulation the way an addict craves a hit. And instead of recognizing this, you label yourself lazy. The addiction stays hidden. The cycle continues. 6. The cost of constant escape. Every time you escape discomfort, you avoid growth. Growth requires tension, confusion, struggle. But escape feels safer, easier, instant. So you trade long-term freedom for short-term relief. And the price is invisible. Until years pass, and you realize you didn't fail. You were distracted. 7. The system doesn't need you weak, just distracted. This is important. The system doesn't want you miserable. Misery creates resistance. It wants you comfortable, numb, entertained, just hopeful enough to keep going, just distracted enough to never stop. That's why there's endless content, but little wisdom, endless noise, but no direction. You're allowed to dream, just not deeply. 8. Awareness without action is another trap. Here's the danger. You can watch content like this, feel awakened, feel different, then scroll to the next video. That's fake awakening. Real awakening changes behavior, even slightly, even uncomfortably. If nothing changes, the system still wins. 9. The first crack in the pattern. Freedom doesn't start with productivity. It starts with interruption, breaking one loop, one habit, one automatic response. Not everything, not perfectly, just one. Because one conscious act proves you're not powerless. 10. In the final part, we'll go where most people refuse to go. How to rebuild focus from zero. Why boredom is the gateway to power. The role of solitude in awakening. And how to reclaim control without motivation. This is not about becoming disciplined. It's about becoming dangerously aware. Most people stop here. If you don't, Part 3 will change how you see your mind forever. If you've made it this far, you are no longer asleep, not fully awake, but aware enough to feel the weight of your own mind. Most people never reach this stage. They sense something is wrong, then drown the feeling in noise. You didn't. And now we reach the point where everything changes. Because awareness alone is not freedom. Freedom begins when you retrain the mind that was trained against you. 1. Why your mind feels fragmented. Let's name the real problem. Your mind is not broken. It's fragmented, pulled in hundreds of directions. Thoughts interrupted mid-sentence. Intentions abandoned halfway. Focus shattered into seconds. This didn't happen overnight. It happened gradually, through constant switching, task to task, tab to tab, emotion to emotion. Your brain adapted. It became excellent at reacting and terrible at sustaining. So when you try to focus, it feels unnatural, painful, wrong. But that discomfort is not failure. It's recovery. 2. The truth about focus is not something you force. It's something you allow. A calm lake reflects clearly. A disturbed one reflects nothing. Your mind is constantly disturbed by inputs, by urgency, by artificial importance. The first step is not concentration. It's subtraction, removing noise, reducing inputs, creating space. Because clarity does not appear in chaos, it appears in silence. 3. Why boredom is the gateway. This is where most people quit. Boredom. They treat it like an enemy, something to escape. But boredom is not emptiness. It's unused potential. When stimulation disappears, the mind begins to create, think, reflect, connect ideas. This is why boredom feels uncomfortable. Because for the first time, you are alone with your thoughts. And a distracted person fears their own mind. But boredom is the doorway. On the other side is focus, insight, original thought. 4. The detox phase, what no one warns you about. When you reduce stimulation, your brain protests restlessness, irritation, anxiety, sudden urges to check your phone. This is not weakness, it's withdrawal. Your nervous system recalibrating. The mistake most people make is interpreting discomfort as danger, so they quit and return to the prison. But if you stay, something incredible happens. The noise fades, thoughts slow, focus returns naturally. 5. Solitude, the forbidden state. Solitude is different from loneliness. Loneliness is the absence of others. Solitude is the presence of self, and the modern world avoids it at all costs. Why? Because solitude dissolves illusions. It forces self-honesty, and self-honesty threatens systems built on distraction. In solitude, you notice patterns, regrets, desires, truths you've been running from. That's why people keep headphones in, why silence feels heavy, why being alone feels uncomfortable. Solitude removes escape routes. 6. What happens when you sit alone? Long enough at first, your mind races. Random thoughts, memories, noise. Then it slows. Deeper thoughts surface. Questions you avoided, ideas you buried. Eventually, clarity, not answers, but direction. You don't need constant advice. You need space to hear yourself. 7. Rebuilding focus from zero. Forget productivity systems. Forget hacks. Rebuilding focus is primitive, simple, but uncomfortable. One task, one intention, no escape. Short periods, then rest. A focus grows the same way strength does. Under resistance, with recovery, not with overload. 8. Why multitasking destroyed your depth. Multitasking feels efficient, but it destroys depth. Every switch costs attention, energy, presence. Depth requires continuity, time without interruption. That's why shallow work feels easy, and deep work feels exhausting. You're not bad at focus. You're just out of practice. 9. The return of inner authority. Distraction creates dependency. On trends, on opinions, on external validation. Silence restores authority. You begin to trust your judgment, your pace, your direction. This is dangerous to a world that profits from insecurity. 10. The identity shift. You stop seeing yourself as lazy, or broken, or behind. You realize you were conditioned, and conditioning can be reversed. This is not self-improvement. It's self-reclamation. 11. Why most people never reach this stage. Because it requires stillness. And stillness feels like death to an overstimulated mind. But those who endure it emerge different, calmer, sharper, harder to manipulate. You've now seen the doorway, but walking through it requires structure, boundaries, and a new relationship with effort. In the final part, we will cover how to rebuild discipline without force, designing an environment that protects focus, turning awareness into permanent change, and how to live awake in a distracted world. Most people stop at understanding. You won't. Because the final step is not knowledge. It's embodiment. If you're here now, this is no longer curiosity. It's commitment. Not the loud kind, not the motivational kind, but the quiet decision to stop living on autopilot. This is the final stage, where awareness turns into structure, and structure turns into freedom. 1. Why motivation was never the answer. Motivation is emotional, temporary, unreliable. That's why it always fails you. A system built on motivation collapses the moment you feel tired. The awakened mind understands this. You don't rise to motivation. You fall to structure. Structure carries you when emotion disappears. 2. Discipline without force. Discipline has been misunderstood. It's not aggression against the self. It's alignment. When your environment supports your intention, discipline becomes natural. Remove distractions, reduce decisions, simplify choices. Force creates resistance. Structure removes friction. 3. Designing an environment that protects focus. Your surroundings shape your behavior more than your will. What's visible gets used. What's hidden loses power. Phones out of reach, notifications silenced, single task spaces, clear boundaries. This isn't restriction, it's liberation. You're not limiting yourself. You're protecting your attention. 4. The rule of fewer choices. Every choice drains energy. So the awakened mind minimizes them. Same wake time, same work window, same routines. Predictability creates freedom. When basics are automated, your mind is free for what matters. 5. Turning awareness into daily rituals. Awareness fades without reinforcement, so it must be embodied. Daily silence. Intentional work blocks, device-free moments. Reflection, not excessive. Consistent. Small rituals anchor big change. 6. Effort is a sacred act. Effort was never the enemy. Meaningless effort was. When effort is chosen consciously, it becomes grounding. You feel present, alive, connected. This is why deep work feels satisfying, even when it's hard. 7. Living awake in a distracted world. You will notice it now. How distracted people are, how reactive, how exhausted. And you'll feel different, calmer, more deliberate, less rushed, not superior, just awake. 8. Social pressure and the cost of awareness. Awakening has a cost. You won't relate to everything you used to. Endless scrolling, small talk, constant stimulation. You'll crave depth, meaning, truth. This can feel isolating, but it's not loneliness. It's alignment. 9. The long game mindset. Awakened people think long term. They trade speed for direction, urgency for clarity. They understand small daily actions compound silently. Discipline is not dramatic. It's quiet, invisible, relentless. 10. You will still struggle, and that's normal. Awakening doesn't remove struggle. It changes your relationship with it. You stop running. You stop numbing. You meet resistance directly. And in doing so, you grow. 11. Identity. From consumer to creator. Distraction turns you into a consumer. Awareness turns you into a creator of work, of meaning, of your own life. You stop asking, what should I watch? And start asking, what should I build? 12. The final illusion. The final illusion is thinking you're done. Awakening is not a finish line. It's a practice. A daily return to presence. A daily refusal to sleepwalk. 13. The awakening message. You were never lazy. You were never broken. You were never behind. You were distracted, conditioned, overstimulated, and now you see it. Most people will go back to noise, to comfort, to unconscious living. But some won't. Some will choose awareness, silence, depth. And those people quietly reshape their lives. No announcements, no validation, just clarity, presence, freedom. If this series changed how you see yourself, don't rush. Sit with it. Let it settle. Because the real work starts after the video ends.